said they successfully thwarted an attempt to kill a Khalistani separatist on American soil. That's essentially the summary of the allegation that the Financial Times article makes. Now, as of just a few minutes ago, Indian agencies have put out their own response to this. They've denied any involvement here. They've said they have no such information on this entire story. Now, we're going to have a reporter join us in just a second to bring us more context. My colleague Anand Narasimhan is with us. Anand, can you fill us in? First, can you tell us what the Financial Times report asserted, and then tell us what Indian government agencies have said?
Well, they've made a very startling claim, and they've gone and reached out to Gurpatwant Panun, but there is no counter from the Indian authorities as far as the article is concerned. The article claims that soon after the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in June, there was an attempt or a clear attempt to try and target Gurpatwant Panun. So that's what they're saying, and Gurpatwant Panun is an American national. So they said that there was an attempt to try and target Gurpatwant Panun on American soil, and that entire attempt was actually thwarted by the authorities. In the article goes on to say that there is a sealed envelope which names at least one of the perpetrators, which has been submitted in a New York District Court. Although the Justice Department and the FBI are still mulling whether that sealed envelope should be opened. But the official comment is no comment, and saying that we are not going to from the US authorities is that we are not going to get involved, neither are we going to offer any comments. So this is all source based, but Panun is asking the Biden administration to protect an American citizen on American soil, etc., etc. But the Indian authorities very clearly are coming out and saying that all of this is bumkum, this is hogwash, and they rubbish these reports because India has said, and we as a nation have very clearly said, that anybody has any inputs of any actor against any citizen of any nation, you let us know and we will act on it. Give us actionable intelligence. Now, this is something that Bharat has been telling Canada for the last many months, but nothing's been offered. Ever since Justin Trudeau went on Parliament and went public with his claims, then the authorities have had to back in because, US Ambassador to Canada also said that the intelligence was provided by the Five Eyes. Now, in the Five Eyes, the most potent of them is the American intelligence. So, did this input go from American intelligence? And if that's the case, then is again a diplomatic challenge because who are they all listening into? And where is the actionable proof? Because, see, intelligence can give you indications, but intelligence does not give you hard evidence. The Canadians have not got hard evidence with respect to Hardeep Nijjar. Even in this case, this is a question that's being asked. But what about Bharat repeatedly raising an American citizen, inciting Canadian locals against Canadian citizens, and also inciting the secession and separation of Bharat? He's the one who's openly threatening Air India passengers and who's openly calling for it. So, is America going to take action against an American citizen acting against the interests? That is something that Bharat is turning around and asking, saying that rather than floating these articles, why didn't you do something actionable against somebody who's trying to sit there on American soil or on Canadian soil and perpetrate acts of secession, attacks on the Indian consulates, and also threatening and assaulting Indian envoys and diplomats there? That's the actionable part, which there has been no response so far, either by Canada or by the US.
Okay, I want to ask you, when Justin Trudeau made those statements in the Canadian Parliament, we saw over the last few months a worsening of diplomatic relations. They reached a low point of sorts in the last few months. I want to ask you, do you see the same happening with a country like the United States, where we've seen India in the last few years put an effort to take that relationship to a new strength? Could you see that potentially weakening in the next few months?
Well, there has been very strong, actionable intelligence sharing between US and Bharat. There is a proximity like never before between US and Bharat. So, clearly, there is going to be a diplomatic work on that. The other aspect is that America has always helped Bharat act against actions of terror. And if the Biden administration firmly stands against those elements who are perpetrating terror on another soil or acts of secession, then they have to take a position vis-a-vis Gurpatwant Panun and what he's calling. He's calling for the secession and the breaking up of Bharat. And he's trying to sow seeds of difference and harm the social fabric of Canadian citizens itself. So does that kind of an action behove of an American citizen? That's something which the Biden administration has to introspect. And I think, our authorities are very clearly speaking to the American administration about it and trying to explain to them what Bharat's point of view is. And Bharat can only go and tell these nations, see, this is our point of view. This is where we stand. Would you appreciate if we were to act or we encourage entities who want the secession of America or secession of Canada, such
though,
elements.
that we saw with Canada take place, with the diplomats being called out, etc. Could we potentially see that happening with the United States, or no?
Somewhere there's been never an official comment from the Americans, Biden administration or any of the ambassadors who've come out and said that no, India is the perpetrator and India is acting against American interests. This is all source-based reports and plants which are happening. Panun himself could have planted this, paid off or planted this. We do not know. And that's also subject to confirmation. But Bharat is saying, if you have actionable intelligence, you give it to us, we will act. And this has been told to the Canadians repeated number of times. And Bharat has always cooperated with the Americans in the past.
All right. Anand, thank you for bringing us these details. We're going to take our focus now from this top story to a different story now. As we speak, today is day 11. 41 workers remain trapped as we speak in Uttarakhand. That's going to be our next focus. We're taking you now to Uttarakhand. As we've been bringing you, I'm going to bring you a quick recap of what the last few days have looked like. Then we'll play reactions and then we'll connect with a reporter. This incident took place on Diwali morning, 5:30 a.m. You'll remember 41 workers were on a 12-hour shift when a part of the tunnel that they were in collapsed. What that's meant is that those workers have been trapped within that part of the tunnel. It's a 2-kilometer stretch. Those workers do have some space to walk around, for example, but they've been trapped inside it for more than a week, as we're saying, 11 days today itself. Now, yesterday we brought you the first good news. After the successful insertion of a pipeline, these workers for the first time have access to proper food. They had access to smaller amounts of food. Now dal, khichdi has been given to them. We had our first visuals of these workers come through, and a secure line of communication has now been established. But that big question, the rescue efforts, these 41 workers being brought out, a question mark hangs over that. This morning we brought you successful updates coming in from the site, engineers saying that progress was happening as usual. However, over the last 11 days, we've brought you multiple points like that where we've said, yes, it could be successful, where the mission is once again proven unsuccessful. So it is a difficult effort to keep a track on. We'll do that in just a second. Let me play out reactions for you, then we'll connect with reporters. Take a look.
हमारी 800 mm की पाइप हम 900 mm डाया पाइप के अंदर हम पुश कर रहे थे और वो करीबन 21 मीटर 900 mm डाया की पाइप पहले से मौजूद थी, तो 800 mm की पाइप भी हमने 21 मीटर तक प्लेस कर दी, पुश कर दिया। उसके बाद हमारी ड्रिलिंग ऑगर मशीन द्वारा वो शुरुआत हमने की रात को करीबन 12:45 बजे और 12:45 12:45 बजे, और अब तक ये मुझे बेहद खुशी है ये आप लोग से शेयर करते हुए कि 3 और पाइप जिसका मतलब है करीब और 18 मीटर, तो 21 + 18 39 मीटर हमारी ड्रिलिंग हो चुकी है और हमने पाइप भी 800 mm का उसमें प्लेस कर दिया है। कितने मीटर सड़क आपने बना लिया है?
1200 मीटर।
1200 मीटर सड़क आपने बना ली है?
जी जी जी।
क्या जो ड्रिलिंग की गाड़ी ऊपर जानी है उसके लिए हम अब तैयार हैं?
हमने उस ड्रिलिंग की गाड़ी को भी पुल करा के ऊपर पहुंचा दिया।
कितनी गाड़ी पहुंच चुकी है?
2 गाड़ी ड्रिलिंग की पहुंची है।
जो मशीन अभी पहुंची है उसका वेट कितना था?
ये मेरी काम नहीं था, मैंने बीआरओ का काम था ट्रैक बनाना, मैंने ट्रैक बना दिया।
शुरू हो सकता है वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग का? अगर
वो मेरे पास नहीं है, मैंने ट्रैक बनाना था, 48 घंटे में हमने ट्रैक बना के दे दिया है। उसके आगे पूरा कंप्लीट हो गया, लॉजिस्टिक स्टार्ट हो गया है, हमारी रोड थ्रू है।
ड्रिलिंग पॉइंट तक आप रोड बना के दे दिए?
राइट।
Okay, let's now connect with the reporter we've had present on the ground over the last 11 days. My colleague Anshul Singh has been reporting to us at each stage of this process. Anshul, can you tell us, as of just a few hours ago, experts, engineers on the ground who are overlooking this effort said we could expect good news as soon as tonight, as late as tomorrow. It's been a few hours since those comments were made. What's the progress on the ground right now?
So yes, a lot of progress has been made since the last press conference happened. In fact, just a few minutes ago, another press conference happened, which was done by the former advisor to the Prime Minister office, Bhaskar Kulve, in which the entire team was very happy because that 45-meter mark has been breached. Remember, since morning we have been reporting, in fact since the last 2 days we have been reporting that the main issue to breach through the debris is between the 22-meter mark and the 45-meter mark. Now that 45-meter mark has been breached. Within the next 2 hours we are expecting that the work for the next pipe will work, will actually get on point. At this point in time 8 pipes have already been drilled in. The work for the 9th pipe is ongoing, but remember the biggest challenge was right at the center of the debris, because remember when the debris fell, it fell like generally when a debris falls from atop a tunnel, it falls like it forms a shape like a pyramid, and which means that the boulders, heavy rocks, the metal plates that are in the center of this pyramid, whereas there is soft debris that is on the sides, on the slants of the pyramid. So that 45-meter mark, 22-45-meter mark has now been breached. It is just the next 12 meters, and the authorities expect that it is going to take a very less time for it to actually go ahead and clear the debris that is ahead of this entire mark. So yes, within the next 3 to 4 hours, we can expect that good news to come in which all these people would finally be taken out from here and would be taken to the district hospital is what is being planned at this point in time. But will that happen? That is a big question. But yes, a big sigh of relief, a glimmer of hope yet again, and definitely the light at the end of tunnel is definitely shining brighter and brighter as the sun is setting down over here in Uttarakhand.
Okay, I want to ask you, Anshul, there's been a big question over the last few days over whether the central government and the Uttarakhand government would announce any kind of compensation reward package for these workers who've been stuck inside there for 11 days now. Not just for the mental stress they've gone through, some of the health damages. We don't know the long-term repercussions here. Anshul, because you're saying it's possible that their release right now is imminent, can you tell us, has there been any movement on those two key questions?
So yes, the compensation has still not been announced of any kind for either for the workers who are stuck inside, either from the state government or from the central government or from the states for that matter. But yes, what we are being told that the process is somewhere starting, but yes, we are still not confirmed that the compensation would be announced. There are talks that a compensation would be given, and for that several of the family members have given their IFSC code and account numbers to the authorities as well. Will a compensation be announced? That is a big question mark. There is no one who is confirming this at this point in time that some sort of compensation would be announced either by the central or the state government or from the states as well. But yes, this is something that is in the plans. Once the people are taken out and they are admitted to the hospital safely, post then we can expect some sort of work to start happening on this as well.
Okay, Anshul, can I just ask you to stay with us for a second? I'm going to walk our audiences through what it is that has just been given to the workers, then we'll come back to you to understand more on this story. All right, as we told you a little while earlier, day before yesterday, in fact, you had the installation of a pipeline. Yesterday, for the first time, you had larger foods sent down to the workers. So far, remember, you had chana, murmur, smaller substances that were being given to the workers. But workers were complaining of dizziness, for example. Now, with the installation of a larger diameter pipeline, finally, apples, oranges, sweet lime, bananas, fruits are finally being transported down to the workers. We already told you dal, khichdi, more substantial amounts of food, starting from breakfast today morning. Crucial medicines, for example, electrol to replenish their body fluids. Now, you also have antidepressants, because remember, these workers, don't have access to any natural sunlight whatsoever. They do have that 2-kilometer stretch in which they can walk, but that's about it. So, antidepressants have also been sent down. As we've already told you, khichdi, dalia, real food, whole food is being sent down to them. And this is a big one, mobile phones and chargers, so that they have something to keep themselves busy, something possibly to contact with. This has now been given to them. Apart, remember already, from visuals that we told you came in yesterday itself, when through the usage of endoscopy, which is a pipe with a small camera attached into it, we actually brought our first visuals. You also, obviously, as you can see, have oxygen. Now, we told you this already. Chana, puffed rice, dry fruits, these were some of the substances that had already been sent. So the workers on the ground have had access for that for a few days now. Ambulances on standby. Remember, this is a rocky region, so those ambulances arrived in waves. 20 ambulances as we speak are on standby. Let's go back to my colleague Anshul to understand more. Anshul, we just told our audiences that mobile phones had been given to those who are trapped underground right now. Now, we know that because of the installation of the endoscopy camera and because of the earlier pipeline, the workers were able to communicate to some degree with everyone who's above ground. But now, can you tell us, do the mobile phones have the ability for these workers to communicate, or are they just for games and things that won't require data connection?
No, so this is absolutely wrong. The mobile phones, it was being planned that the mobile phones would be given into the workers, but that was not a very practical solution, because the 6-inch pipe that was drilled through the lifeline pipe, the size of the mobile phone is not something that could actually go inside it, and if at all it goes inside it, if by any chance it gets stuck inside it, then the entire pipe would be of no use, and hence this decision was taken to not send in mobile phones. And that is the reason why the SDRF and the NDRF teams have now set up a stable communication line between the workers and the people who are stuck inside through a wiring cable, and that is the source of communication through which at this point in time communication is happening. Workers are in constant touch with the doctors who is present out here in the ground. The CMO of Uttarkashi has been present on the ground for the last many days, and he has now finally started speaking to the workers. At this point, he might be speaking to the last workers present inside the tunnel. There are, remember, 41 people inside, and the doctor has gone ahead and spoken to each and every one of them. And if you talk about the preparations as to what is going to happen as soon as these workers will come out, I'll just try and show you. There is a team of NDRF that you can see right atop that building at this point in time. This is the team that has been given the task to make sure that all these people are taken out once the breakthrough is made towards the other side of the tunnel. Now, how will they do it? They have already made stretchers, and in that stretchers, small wheels have been fixed in, which means that as soon as the breakthrough will happen, a few members of the NDRF team will go inside the tunnel through the 900 mm pipe that has been drilled in, and once they reach inside along with a doctor, and then the decision would be taken as to who is on priority, who is the person on priority who should be taken out at first. And once that decision is taken, those people would be asked to lay down on that stretcher and with their heads towards the front and their legs towards the back, and as soon as they lay down, they will be pulled out with police very, very quickly. So the entire process of taking these people out from inside the tunnel is not going to be a very, very long process, is what we are expecting. We have seen that the NDRF has already conducted such drills previously as well. So yes, once the breakthrough is made and the pipe is cleared, because remember, the pipe is being drilled through debris. So as soon as the pipe goes inside the debris, there is some amount of debris that gets inside the pipe as well, which means that it will get difficult for the NDRF teams to actually get in and then take people out, and hence the process after that is the cleaning of the pipe will happen. And once the pipe is cleaned, then the NDRF team and the doctors will go inside, and one by one they'll pull people outside, and as soon as the people come outside, they'll be loaded into the ambulance that have already reached on the spot and would be taken from here to the nearest district hospital, that is the Uttarkashi district hospital. This is the plan that is supposed to happen, but yes, you never know what changes might be made at the last minute, but this is something that has been planned as of now.
Okay, Anshul, can I just ask you to stay with us? We have more breaking news for our audiences. We'll return to you for more details on that. Okay, this entire incident, as you know already, is playing out in Uttarkashi in Uttarakhand. The Chief Minister is Pushkar Singh Dhami. He'd already visited the site on the past Sunday. Nitin Gadkari, the Union Minister, has also been present on the ground at different points. We're learning as we speak, as it's possible that the workers may come out in the next 24 hours. The Chief Minister is once again going to be visiting. He's not going to be visiting the site itself, but he's going to be flying out from Dehradun in the next few visits. He'll be arriving in Uttarkashi. So he'll be arriving in Uttarkashi. He'll stay at a guest house that's about 45 kilometers away from the spot. We'll go back to my colleague Anshul. Anshul, we know the Chief Minister visited the spot in the last few days. At the same time, can you tell our audiences, because we know the Chief Minister is travelling to Uttarkashi, but he will not right now be visiting the spot itself. I know many have asked why there hasn't been a more constant presence of senior leadership of Uttarakhand on the ground. Can you tell us what was the logic there? Why did we not see the Chief Minister, for example, camp out as we have seen Chief Ministers do in incidents in the past?
Well, that is certainly a very interesting question, and that needs to be answered from the Chief Minister himself, because yes, we have seen while the train accident that happened in Balasore, the Railway Minister was present over there on the spot 24/7, making sure that the entire operation goes according to the plan. But this incident that has happened, initially this is the project of the central government, and probably the Chief Minister did not deem it necessary to actually be a part of the central government's project, because the rescue operation that was being done was mostly being done by central government's agencies and the people from the central government as well. Now, interestingly, the CM has visited over here only twice over the last 11 days. Initially, when the incident had happened, he came here on the first day, and then along with Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, we saw Pushkar Singh Dhami coming over here yet again. But yes, the center stage was also then taken by the Union Minister, and the Chief Minister was on this side. But yes, over the last few days, what we have been told, in fact, constant messages have come in from the Chief Minister's office that he is in constant touch with the officials over here. making sure that the entire operation is conducted in a manner so that the people who are inside, they remain safe, and also the rescuers who are present who are carrying out this rescue operation, they also remain safe. Now what we have been told at this point in time is that the Chief Minister will leave from Dehradun in the next few minutes and will be arriving at Uttarkashi, and once he arrives at Uttarkashi, he will be staying at Chirali Sorts ITBP guest house, which is a government's guest house, and which is approximately 45 to 50 kilometers away from this spot. And it is expected that all these people who will be taken out from the tunnel would actually be going towards the Uttarkashi district hospital, and that is very close to the place where the Chief Minister will be staying for the night. So we can expect a meeting between the Chief Minister and the people who are stuck inside probably tomorrow once they are admitted in the hospital and the condition, if the doctor suggests, is stable. Then we can expect this meeting to happen. But what we have been told at this point in time, that it is unlikely that the CM would be arriving over here at this spot, because if the CM arrives at this point in time, in fact in the last leg of this rescue operation that is already underway, then there is a lot of protocol that needs to be maintained, and the officials who should be busy in making sure that people are taken out at the earliest, they will get busy in making sure that the protocol is followed. And that could be one of the reasons that at this point in time it is unlikely that the CM would be coming here on this spot out here in Silkyara. So if at all that happens, that remains to be seen. But yes, at this point in time, the manner in which the rescue operation is ongoing, as the sun is setting out here in Uttarkashi, we are hoping that finally these people will see the light at the end of the tunnel that they have been waiting for so many days now.
Okay, Anshul has remained with us on the ground, bringing us these ground reports over the last 11 days. We'll connect with him once again to get more updates. This is a story where obviously, particularly in the next few hours, keeping a very, very keen eye on. Right now, we're going to move to a different story altogether. This is an international story. Let's take a look. Amid the continuing situation in Gaza, where as we speak, the death toll has now crossed 13,000 people, according to Palestinian health officials. A BRIC summit that was convened virtually to discuss the situation in Gaza, the Israel-Hamas situation, as we're discussing. And in that meeting, we're learning that President Xi of China has openly advocated, number one, for Palestine. So these are a few different points. Firstly, he's openly said in support of Palestine that there is no condemnation of Hamas action. He's also said that attacks on civilians must end. Importantly, he's also said that the hostages need to be released. Now, what Indian government sources have to say on that, that's what we're going to bring you in just a second. We're also going to talk a little bit more about what took place in that summit and what the takeaways were. Let's go over to my colleague Anand Narasimhan to understand more. Anand, I believe Indian government sources are calling the Chinese president's statement a double standard of sorts. Can you explain to our audiences why they're saying that?
Well, it's quite rich coming from the Chinese, isn't it? That they're talking about freedom of expression and freedom of civilians and trying to play one against the other. Now, this is something which is like whenever you are in that kind of a grouping, you say what they need to hear. But the fact of the matter is, look at China's own treatment of Uyghurs and how they're treating them in East Turkestan. I saw in person and met families of people who have lost their loved ones to detention, and they have an internment which they have not been able to see them for about 2-3 years now. And I met them recently when I was in the US. So there's a huge furor about how the CCP and the PLA have treated Muslims on their own backyard. And now they're trying to create a divide within the Arab nations while playing one against the other. China has huge investments in Israel and always has called Israel a trusted partner. And today, now it is trying to play this geopolitical grouping by inciting Iran, Qatar, and trying to back them. Iran on the other day had even exalted and urged China to intervene and take a position. So clearly, the fact of the matter is that there is a tussle within the OIC. And there are nations like Turkey, Qatar and Iran which have tried and wrest control from the likes of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Jordan and Egypt. But and China now has increased its commitments and it's increased its presence in Iran as it takes a far greater adversarial position vis-a-vis the US. So there is a greater geopolitical game. and point is that now the Chinese even view Bharat as competition, because Bharat is aligning with nations which have wisened up to the Chinese hegemony and its debt trap diplomacy, and they are wanting to move away and clearly looking at China plus one or anywhere but China kind of options. So, given all of that, it's quite rich coming in from Xi Jinping, but the Indian agencies are looking at it from the point of view that he's just making the right noises based on the audience that presents itself in front of him. And the other aspect is that they have failed to walk the talk in their own backyard, so they are nobody to lecture anyone else.
Okay. All right, Anand, thank you for bringing us those details. It's time right now for a short break. On the other side, in just a few minutes, we return. This is The Nation at 5. We'll continue to bring you all of the country's top stories right here at this hour.
Hello.
Fingers crossed, we are hoping that we will get that very good news that we all have been waiting for the last 11 days within the next few hours itself, probably by tomorrow morning or by tomorrow afternoon. We are expecting, in fact the rescuers are also expecting, that they will be able to successfully get all these people out who are stuck inside. At this point in time, the biggest update that we are bringing to our viewers is that the auger machine, which had started working late last night, has finally been able to dig through the debris, and almost 34 meters of debris has been dug through, which means that 6 pipes have already gone inside. The welding process for the 7th pipe is underway at this point in time, whereas if you talk about the entire length of the debris that is being predicted at this point in time by the rescuers is of 54 meters. So approximately 20 more meters needs to go through. The work is ongoing in full swing. I'll just try and show you in the visuals. You can see over here the work is absolutely going on in full swing. The welding process has already started. Within the next few hours, the 7th pipe will also be pushed in, which means that the length of the debris, the drilling length of the pipes would reach somewhere around the 40 meters mark. So yes, a lot of work is ongoing. The breakfast this morning has also been given to the workers. On the other hand, if you talk about the other plans, the border road organization has successfully been able to build the entire road to the vertical top from where the drilling process could start. But yes, that could still take a lot of time. But keep that aside, the biggest ray of hope, the light at the end of tunnel, is certainly getting brighter. We are hoping to get that very good news very quickly, very soon. The workers inside, who are working relentlessly to make sure that this rescue operation is completed at the earliest, they are also very optimistic. Certainly a sense of happiness and a sense of positivity is something that can be sensed in the air over here, because remember the time when the auger machine broke down and the work was stopped, there was definitely a lot of gloom over here, and hence over the last 2 days the engineers over here have worked around the clock, made sure that the entire structuring inside the tunnel is done, and post that the drilling process also starts. It took almost 50 to 60 hours for them to actually prepare the entire ground, and post that this operation that has now started is going on in full swing. But still, fingers crossed, there still is no issue, but no issues that they have encountered at this point in time. But yes, the last 20 meters is something that is the most crucial. Out of this 20 meter, at least the last 10 meters is something that is the most crucial part of this operation, because remember, there could be heavy machineries that could come in the way of the pipes that are being drilled in. But yes, the analysis has been done, the electromagnetic analysis and the geophysics analysis of the debris has been done, and the rescuers are hopeful that they will be able to negate through those machines as well. So yes, the next few hours is going to be very, very crucial. Approximately till the 45-meter mark is where the rescuers expect that they could encounter problems. Once that 45-meter mark is crossed, then the road ahead is definitely going to be very, very easy for them. So yes, the next 10 meters that is going to be drilled through now, that is going to be the most crucial part of this entire operation, which means over the next 5 to 6 hours is the time when we are expecting that this entire drilling through the 10 meter of debris is going to get completed, and post that the remaining part of the debris is going to be an easy terrain, is what the rescuers expect at this point in time. Now, since it is becoming more and more optimistic for the people, for the rescuers, that these people would be taken out safely and at the earliest, and that is the reason why the administration has now put on standby at least 20 ambulances, and if required, if the situation of anyone who is inside the tunnel is not good, then 40 ambulances could also be brought in. The work for that has also started. At least 20 ambulances have been put on standby at this point in time. So at least the last 9 days, in fact out of the 11 days, the last 9 days was very troublesome. There was a lot of anger amongst the family members because they did not feel that any sort of work was happening, because the work that was happening was not of the drilling but of structuring that was going on inside the tunnel, and that was something very, very scientific and technical, and definitely the kind of emotions that these people had, you can't blame them for not understanding that. But since the first visuals have come to the fore, a strong communication line has been established, these people are being allowed to speak to their family members who are stuck inside. The confidence has definitely increased, and as I told you, there is a sense of optimism now that within the next few hours all of them would be taken out safely, and we can expect that and that is what the family members also expect at this point in time. Their body language has definitely changed over the last 24 hours, I should say, and definitely the kind of progress that has been made at this point in time is something that should be cherished. But yes, fingers crossed, we are still hoping that the next 10 meters that needs to be drilled through, that can be done with all safety and at the earliest. Post that, the good news is not such a far-fetched idea.
Welcome back. You're watching The Nation at 5 right here on CNN News 18. We are now taking you to a story playing out up north in Jammu and Kashmir, where we carry the news that as of a few hours ago, the Jammu and Kashmir administration is saying that they fired 4 officials for what they're saying are terror links. Among those who've been fired are a doctor and a police person, a constable. Now, this makes the total number of people fired since April 2021, more than 50 people so far. You've had the Lieutenant General say, and those who are involved in the government say, that this is because of terror links, widespread terror links that are taking place. But many have questioned, particularly opposition parties, the choices of those who are fired. Now, we're going to bring you more depth in this story in just a second. First, we'll play out for you different reactions to the story. Then we'll connect to a reporter. Take a look.
डेडवुड थे, करप्ट एलिमेंट थे, उनको वीड आउट किया. उस पे अपोजिशन पार्टी जो अभी पावर से बाहर है, उन्होंने काफी ऑब्जेक्शन की कि आर्बिट्ररी डिसीजंस लिए जा रहे हैं, लोगों को सैक किया जा रहा है. उस बारे में सर क्या कहेंगे सर?
पहली बात तो कि किसी को भी आर्बिट्ररी नहीं निकाला गया है. आई एम वेरी वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट कि किसी को भी आर्बिट्ररी नहीं निकाला गया है. जो लोग निकाले गए हैं तो 52-311 में निकाले गए हैं. अब कोई भी आदमी जो देश के खिलाफ काम कर रहा है वो सरकार के तनख्वाह ले, ये तो कहीं से भी मान्य नहीं हो सकता है और उसको डिफेंड करना उचित नहीं है. सरकार में लोग जब तनख्वाह लेते हैं तो उनको सरकार के प्रति, देश के प्रति उनको भक्ति होनी चाहिए. उनको लगता है कि वो सरकार का काम नहीं करना चाहते हैं तो ना रहे यहाँ पे. ये कॉम्प्रोमाइज का इशू नहीं हो सकता. एवरीथिंग कैन नॉट बी पुट टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज. जो डेडवुड है उनको भी निकाला गया, तो 52 के आसपास निकाले गए, 311 में 67 निकाले गए डेडवुड में. ये नंबर तो बहुत छोटा है. नौकरियां जो हम लोगों ने दी हैं, 32,000 के आसपास नौकरियां दी हैं. जो 32,000 सरकारी नौकरी मिले हैं उसकी तो कोई बात नहीं करता है, जो कि सबसे ट्रांसपेरेंट और फेयर थी. और अगर आप इन दो सभी को मिला लें तो 120 के आसपास आप बन जाएंगे कि ठीक है, जिनको निकाला गया. तो ऐसी कौन सी सरकार है दुनिया में जो कि उस सरकार के खिलाफ, देश के खिलाफ काम करे और उनको वो अपने पास रहने देगी? मेरे ख्याल से ये पॉलिटिकल इशू नहीं है, ये देश की सिक्योरिटी का इशू है और इस पे कोई क्या बोलता है ये मैटर नहीं करता है। जो लॉ है दैट लॉ विल टेक इट्स कोर्स एंड वी हैव बीन वेरी वेरी सेलेक्टिव. We have not gone on for mass action. It is not possible.
मेरे पास कोई ऐसी जानकारी नहीं है जिसके बुनियाद पे मैं ये कह सकूं कि जो उन लोगों के खिलाफ इल्ज़ाम लगे वो सही लगे या गलत, लेकिन हर किसी को अपनी सफाई देने का पूरा मौका मिलना चाहिए। कानून भी ये कहती है कि जब तक कि न आपको गुनहगार साबित किया जाए आपको बेगुनाह समझा जाता है। लेकिन बदकिस्मती से ये एक सिलसिला चला है जहां के लोगों को
मैं आप सभी का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। 140 करोड़ भारतवासियों की ओर से आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है। फ्रेंड्स, मुझे याद है जब पिछले साल 16 नवंबर को मेरे दोस्त और इंडोनेशिया के प्रेसिडेंट जोको विडोडो ने मुझे सेरेमोनियल गेवल सौंपी थी, तो मैंने कहा था कि हम मिलकर G20 को इंक्लूसिव, एम्बिशियस, एक्शन ओरिएंटेड और डिसिसिव बनाएंगे। एक साल में हम सब ने मिलकर ये करके दिखाया है। हम सब ने मिलकर G20 को नई ऊंचाइयों पर पहुंचाया है। अविश्वास और चुनौतियों से भरी आज की दुनिया में ये आपसी विश्वास ही है जो हमें बांधता है, एक दूसरे से जोड़ता है। इस एक साल में हमने वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर में विश्वास जताया है और विवादों से हटकर एकता और सहयोग का परिचय दिया है। वो पल मैं कभी नहीं भूल सकता जब दिल्ली में हम सभी ने सर्वसम्मति से G20 में अफ्रीकन यूनियन का स्वागत किया। G20 ने पूरे विश्व को इंक्लूसिविटी का जो ये संदेश दिया है वो अभूतपूर्व है। भारत के लिए गर्व की बात है कि उसकी प्रेसिडेंसी में अफ्रीका को आवाज मिली है। इस एक साल में पूरी दुनिया ने G20 में ग्लोबल साउथ की गूंज भी सुनी है। पिछले हफ्ते वॉइस ऑफ ग्लोबल साउथ समिट में करीब करीब 130 देशों ने नई दिल्ली G20 समिट में लिए गए फैसलों की मन से सराहना की है। G20 ने इनोवेशन और डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी का समर्थन करते हुए ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक अप्रोच को अपनाने पर बल दिया है। G20 ने मल्टीलेटरलिज्म में फिर से विश्वास बढ़ाया है। हमने मिलकर मल्टीलेटरल डेवलपमेंट बैंक्स और ग्लोबल गवर्नेंस रिफॉर्म को दिशा दी है और इनके साथ ही भारत की प्रेसिडेंसी में G20 को पीपल्स 20 की पहचान मिली है। भारत के करोड़ों सामान्य नागरिक G20 से जुड़े, हमने इसे पर्व की तरह मनाया। योर हाइनेसेस, एक्सेलेंसीज, जब मैंने इस वर्चुअल समिट का प्रस्ताव रखा था तो कोई पूर्वानुमान नहीं था कि आज की वैश्विक स्थिति कैसी होगी। पिछले महीनों में नई चुनौतियां उत्पन्न हुई हैं। पश्चिम एशिया क्षेत्र में असुरक्षा और अस्थिरता की स्थिति हम सब के लिए चिंता का विषय है। आज हमारा एक साथ आना इस बात का प्रतीक है कि हम सभी मुद्दों के प्रति संवेदनशील हैं और इनके समाधान के लिए एक साथ खड़े हैं। हम मानते हैं कि आतंकवाद हम सभी को अस्वीकार्य है। सिविलियंस की मौत कहीं भी हो निंदनीय है। आज हुए हॉस्टेजेस के रिलीज के समाचार का हम स्वागत करते हैं। उम्मीद करते हैं कि सभी हॉस्टेजेस जल्दी रिहा हो जाएंगे। मानवीय सहायता का समय से और निरंतर पहुंचना आवश्यक है। यह सुनिश्चित करना भी जरूरी है कि इजरायल और हमास की लड़ाई किसी तरह का क्षेत्रीय रूप धारण न कर ले। आज संकटों के जो बादल हम देख रहे हैं, वन फैमिली में वह ताकत है कि हम शांति के लिए काम कर सकते हैं। मानवीय कल्याण के दृष्टिकोण से हम आतंक और हिंसा के विरुद्ध और मानवता के प्रति अपनी आवाज बुलंद कर सकते हैं। आज विश्व की मानवता की इस अपेक्षा की पूर्ति के लिए भारत कदम से कदम मिलाकर चलने के लिए तत्पर है। फ्रेंड्स, 21वीं सदी के विश्व को आगे बढ़ते हुए ग्लोबल साउथ की चिंताओं को सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता देनी होगी। ग्लोबल साउथ के देश ऐसी अनेक कठिनाइयों से गुजर रहे हैं जिनके लिए वे जिम्मेदार नहीं है। इस संदर्भ में समय की मांग है कि हम डेवलपमेंट एजेंडा को अपना पूर्ण समर्थन दें। ये जरूरी है कि ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक और गवर्नेंस स्ट्रक्चर को बिगर, बेटर, इफेक्टिव, रिप्रेजेंटेटिव और फ्यूचर रेडी बनाने के लिए उनमें रिफॉर्म्स लाए जाए। जरूरतमंद देशों को समय से और आसान दरों पर सहायता सुनिश्चित करें। 2030 सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स में तेजी लाने के लिए अपनाए गए एक्शन प्लान को इंप्लीमेंट करें। फ्रेंड्स, भारत में लोकल लेवल पर एसडीजी में प्रगति का एक उत्तम उदाहरण है हमारा एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोग्राम। मैं G20 देशों को ग्लोबल साउथ को एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोग्राम के अध्ययन के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं। आप देखिएगा कि कैसे इस एक अभियान ने भारत के 25 करोड़ लोगों का जीवन बदल दिया है। फ्रेंड्स, नई दिल्ली समिट में डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रिपोजिटरी बनाने का निर्णय लिया था। मुझे कहते हुए खुशी है कि रिपोजिटरी तैयार हो गई है। इसमें 16 देशों के 50 से भी ज्यादा डीपीआई जुड़ गए हैं। ग्लोबल साउथ के देशों में डीपीआई इंप्लीमेंट करने के लिए मैं सोशल इंपैक्ट फंड स्थापित करने का प्रस्ताव रखता हूं। भारत की ओर से मैं इसमें $25 मिलियन की प्रारंभिक राशि की जोड़ने की घोषणा भी करता हूं। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप सभी इस इनिशिएटिव से जुड़ेंगे। आज आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के युग में टेक्नोलॉजी को रिस्पॉन्सिबल तरीके से उपयोग में लाने की जरूरत है। पूरी दुनिया में एआई के नेगेटिव यूज को लेकर चिंता बढ़ रही है। भारत की स्पष्ट सोच है कि एआई के वैश्विक रेगुलेशन को लेकर हमें मिलकर काम करना चाहिए। डीप फेक समाज के लिए, व्यक्ति के लिए कितना खतरनाक है, इसकी गंभीरता को समझते हुए हमें आगे बढ़ना होगा। हम चाहते हैं कि एआई शुड रीच द पीपल एंड इट मस्ट बी सेफ फॉर द सोसाइटी। इसी अप्रोच के साथ भारत में अगले महीने ग्लोबल एआई पार्टनरशिप समिट आयोजित की जा रही है। मुझे विश्वास है कि आप सभी इसमें भी सहयोग देंगे। फ्रेंड्स, नई दिल्ली समिट में मैंने पर्यावरण संरक्षण के संबंध में ग्रीन क्रेडिट की बात रखी थी। आप जानते हैं कि भारत में हमने इसकी शुरुआत कर दी है। नई दिल्ली में लॉन्च किए गए ग्लोबल बायोफ्यूल्स अलायंस के जरिए हम कार्बन को कम करने के साथ साथ वैकल्पिक ईंधन के विकास को भी बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं। G20 ने प्रो प्लैनेट अप्रोच के लिए मिशन लाइफ यानी लाइफस्टाइल फॉर एनवायरनमेंट को मान्यता दी है। 2030 तक रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी को 3 गुना तक ले जाने का आह्वान किया है। क्लीन हाइड्रोजन के प्रति प्रतिबद्धता दिखाई है। क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस को बिलियन से ट्रिलियन ले जाने की जरूरत को पहचाना है। कुछ दिनों में यूएई में हो रहे COP28 के दौरान इन सभी इनिशिएटिव्स पर ठोस कदम उठाने की जरूरत है। फ्रेंड्स, विमेन एम्पावरमेंट पर एक नया वर्किंग ग्रुप भी बना है। इस संदर्भ में मुझे यह बताते हुए बहुत खुशी है कि भारत ने अपने नए संसद भवन के पहले सत्र में एक ऐतिहासिक निर्णय लिया। विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट को मजबूती देने के लिए हमने पार्लियामेंट और स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज में महिलाओं के लिए 33% रिजर्वेशन का निर्णय लिया है। फ्रेंड्स, मैं अपना वक्तव्य यहीं समाप्त करता हूं।
Brought to you by
Fingers crossed. We are hoping that we will get that very good news that we all have been waiting for the last 11 days within the next few hours itself, probably by tomorrow morning or by tomorrow afternoon. We are expecting, in fact the rescuers also expecting that they will be able to successfully get all these people out who are stuck inside. At this point in time, the biggest update that we are bringing to our viewers is that the auger machine, which had started working late last night, has finally been able to dig through the debris, and almost 34 meters of debris has been dug through, which means that 6 pipes have already gone inside. The welding process for the 7th pipe is underway at this point in time, whereas if you talk about the entire length of the debris that is being predicted at this point in time by the rescuers is of 54 meters. So approximately 20 more meters needs to go through. The work is ongoing in full swing. I'll just try and show you in the visuals. You can see over here the work is absolutely going on in full swing. The welding process has already started. Within the next few hours, the 7th pipe will also be pushed in, which means that the length of the debris, the drilling length of the pipes would reach somewhere around the 40 meters mark. So yes, a lot of work is ongoing. The breakfast this morning has also been given to the workers. On the other hand, if you talk about the other plans, the Border Road Organization has successfully been able to build the entire road to the vertical top from where the drilling process could start. But yes, that could still take a lot of time. But keep that aside, the biggest ray of hope. The light at the end of tunnel is certainly getting brighter. We are hoping to get that very good news very quickly, very soon. The workers inside who are working relentlessly to make sure that this rescue operation is completed at the earliest, they are also very optimistic. Certainly a sense of happiness and a sense of positivity is something that can be sensed in the air over here, because remember the time when the auger machine broke down and the work was stopped, there was definitely a lot of gloom over here, and hence over the last 2 days the engineers over here have worked around the clock, made sure that the entire structuring inside the tunnel is done, and post that the drilling process also starts. It took almost 50 to 60 hours for them to actually prepare the entire ground, and post that this operation that has now started is going on in full swing. But still fingers crossed, there still is no issue, but no issues that they have encountered at this point in time. But yes, the last 20 meters is something that is the most crucial. Out of this 20 meter, at least the last 10 meters is something that is the most crucial part of this operation, because remember there could be heavy machineries that could come in the way of the pipes that are being drilled in. But yes, the analysis has been done, the electromagnetic analysis and the geophysics analysis of the debris has been done, and the rescuers are hopeful that they will be able to negate through those machines as well. So yes, the next few hours is going to be very crucial. Approximately till the 45-meter mark is where the rescuers expect that they could encounter problems. Once that 45-meter mark is crossed, then the road ahead is definitely going to be very easy for them. So yes, the next 10 meters that is going to be drilled through now, that is going to be the most crucial part of this entire operation, which means over the next 5 to 6 hours is the time when we are expecting that this entire drilling through the 10 meter of debris is going to get completed, and post that the remaining part of the debris is going to be an easy terrain, is what the rescuers expect at this point in time. Now, since it is becoming more and more optimistic for the people, for the rescuers, that these people would be taken out safely and at the earliest, and that is the reason why the administration has now put on standby at least 20 ambulances, and if required, if the situation of anyone who is inside the tunnel is not good, then 40 ambulances could also be brought in. The work for that has also started. At least 20 ambulances have been put on standby at this point in time. So at least the last 9 days, in fact out of the 11 days, the last 9 days was very troublesome. There was a lot of anger amongst the family members because they did not feel that any sort of work was happening, because the work that was happening was not of the drilling but of structuring that was going on inside the tunnel, and that was something very scientific and technical, and definitely the kind of emotions that these people had, you can't blame them for not understanding that. But since the first visuals have come to the fore, a strong communication line has been established, these people are being allowed to speak to their family members who are stuck inside. The confidence has definitely increased, and as I told you, there is a sense of optimism now that within the next few hours all of them would be taken out safely, and we can expect that and that is what the family members also expect at this point in time. Their body language has definitely changed over the last 24 hours, I should say, and definitely the kind of progress that has been made at this point in time is something that should be cherished. But yes, fingers crossed, we are still hoping that the next 10 meters that needs to be drilled through, that can be done with all safety and at the earliest. Post that, the good news is not such a far-fetched idea.
Welcome back. You're watching the Breaking News Show. We're bringing you the nation at 5, stories from across the country at this hour. Now let's take a look at elections that are taking place in 5 different states as we speak. We're taking you first to Telangana, where as we speak, the brother of Asaduddin Owaisi, Akbaruddin Owaisi, has made a statement that's causing quite a bit of controversy. He made this statement while he was at a rally. During this rally, he essentially, in a statement that's being seen as a threat to police, told the police that he wouldn't stop his speech when a police person asked him to stop it. Now, his brother, Asaduddin Owaisi, who leads the AIMIM, has said that his brother was not over time. His brother was very much within his time limit. But whether or not that defense stands, that obviously remains the big question. Remember, the elections in Telangana are particularly interesting. There is a large assembly where the majority is very much with the BRS, the Bharatiya Rashtra Samiti. It's a party that's had a winning amount of seats since 2014 when the state was first formed. That's why you have opposition parties like the Congress, BJP, the AIMIM that are hoping to make their mark this time in the elections. Now we'll take a deeper look. This is first the controversy that was started when Akbaruddin Owaisi made this remark, how his brother has defended it and what other political parties have to say. Take a look.
इंस्पेक्टर साहब घड़ी है मेरे पास या मेरी घड़ी आपको दी, फिर चलिए चलिए चलिए। क्या गोलियां चाकुओं की बात सुन के समझे के कमजोर हो गया? अभी भी बहुत हिम्मत है, छेड़ो मत, बड़े आके ठहरे। 5 मिनट अभी बोलूंगा 5 मिनट। कोई माय का लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ मुझे रोकने के लिए। सही है ना? चंद्रायन गुट्टा बता दो, इशारा कर दिया तो दौड़ना पड़ेगा। दौड़ाए? मैं आपसे यही कह रहा हूं, कैसी आते हैं हमारे इत्तेहाद को कमजोर करने के लिए। होशियार रहो। ये चाहते हैं कि अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी से मुकाबला करने वाला कोई नहीं है, तो ये लोग कैंडिडेट बनकर आ रहे हैं। आ जाओ, देख लेते हैं तुम जीते या हम।
सुनिए एक बात। मैं अगर 10:10 हो रहा तो आपको पूरा राइट है मेरे को आके रोकने का। आप 10 बजने के लिए 5 मिनट बाकी है, आप मेरे डाइस पे चढ़ जाते। क्या बात है भाई? क्यों? ये कानून एमसीसी ईसीआई का जो आप खुद परमिशन आरओ दे रहा है और 5 मिनट पहले बंद कर दो बोलते आप। क्या करना फिर हम?
लेकिन अच्छे तरीके
नहीं अच्छे तरीके नहीं। आप एक आदमी स्पीच दे रहा है, बंद करो, टाइम हो गया। ये क्या है? क्या है बोलिए आप अगर आप उनके खिलाफ एक्शन नहीं लेंगे क्या? अगर मैं 10:01 हो रहा, आप करिए, एक्शन लीजिए, कौन रोक रहा आपको? आप मेरे डाइस पे खड़े होकर बोलते बंद करो, टाइम हो गया। ये क्या है? क्या है ये कैसा बिहेवियर है बताइए आप।
देखिए, चाहे असदुद्दीन ओवैसी हो चाहे अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी हो, ये लोग केवल भड़काऊ बात करते हैं, संविधान को तार-तार करते हैं। और अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी तो वही हैं जो कह रहे थे 15 मिनट के लिए पुलिस हटा दो। फिर से उनका यह अराजक रूप सामने आया है। इतना जरूर कहना चाहूंगा, उन्होंने बोला कोई माइका लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ मुझे रोकने के लिए। कानून से ऊपर कोई व्यक्ति है नहीं। और वर्दी का रसूख ऐसा है, जो ये वक्तव्य बोल रहे हैं, अगर वर्दी अपना काम करने लगी तो इनकी सारी हेकड़ी निकल जाएगी।
वो अकबरुद्दीन हो, एमआईएम नेता हो, वो कांग्रेस के राज में हो, बीआरएस के राज में हो, जो मनमाने बोलते हैं वो हिंदू समाज के खिलाफ बोलते हैं, जो इंडियंस के खिलाफ बोलते हैं, पुलिस के खिलाफ बोलते हैं। जो कांग्रेस पार्टी हो, बीआरएस पार्टी जिम्मेदारी है। मैं बताना चाहता हूं, ऐसे मजलिस पार्टी जो भाषण पहली बार दिया है, हमारा को अगर सिक्योरिटी पीपल विड्रा किए तो 15 मिनट के अंदर ये 100 करोड़ हिंदुओं को मैं देखूंगा, ऐसा भाषण देने वाले हैं। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी सत्ता में आने के बाद ऐसे लोगों के ऊपर कार्रवाई करके ये लोग घर में नहीं रहेंगे, चंचलगुड़ में जेल में रहेंगे।
देखिए, पुलिस को धमकाना, नागरिकों को धमकाना, ये ओवैसी और उनके परिवार का एक पुराना हमने इसको कल्चर देखा है। मुझे लगता है इस चुनाव में अब वो अधिकार शायद जनता इनके पास रहने न दे।
कि कौन कसूरवार है, उस कसूरवार को सजा होनी चाहिए। अगर मैं कसूरवार हूं तो जरूर मुझे सजा दीजिए। अगर पुलिस है तो उन पुलिस ऑफिसर्स को लीगली एक्शन लेना चाहिए और उनको सस्पेंड भी करना चाहिए। कि पीसफुल एक मीटिंग जा रही है, उसमें जाके आप डिस्टर्ब करके, ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट करके रोकते हैं, ये गलत बात है। अगर पुलिस आके बैठना चाहती है तो जरूर मैं अपना स्टेज दे देता हूं, उनको कुर्सी भी देता हूं, आके बैठ सकते हैं हमारे जलसों में।
आप जो ईसीआई का वर्जन जो हमसे बातचीत करने पर बताया गया है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन को कोई वायलेशन नहीं दिखा है आपके स्पीच में या वहाँ पर जो इंसिडेंट हुआ उसमें, इसीलिए उन्होंने कोई केस दर्ज नहीं किया। लेकिन पुलिस का इस तरीके से केस दर्ज करना क्या इंडिकेट करता है सर?
देखिए इंटेंशन।
इलेक्शन कमीशन के अधिकारी ने बताया कि वो टैब लेकर ऊपर चढ़े थे डायस के पास, टाइम से पहले फोटो खींचने के लिए रेडी प्रिपेयर हो रहे थे कि 10 बजने के बाद वो फोटो लेंगे। तो वो इलेक्शन कमीशन का वर्जन वो है, लेकिन डीसीपी बता रहे हैं कि
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Trouble again seems to be mounting for the Congress party as the Enforcement Directorate continues its probe in the National Herald case. Now, multiple properties of Associated Journals Limited have been seized from Delhi, Mumbai and Lucknow, amounting to about 661 crore rupees, along with 90 crores of Young Indian in the form of investment in equity shares of the AGL. Overall, about